Welcome to JSA Civic Action Cohorts. JSA Civic Action Pilot Project developed by Alliance Smidt Tech High. I am Kip Morales, a teacher advisor for Alliance Smidt Tech High. All right, so Civic Action Cohorts is basically about personalizing the JSA experience for every member in your JSA club. The mission is the JSA Civic Action Cohorts is to provide JSA chapters with a civic inquiry action cycle that leads to real experience in civic change. And that's the key, real experience, getting things really done, and eventually leading to presentation at a JSA Civic Action Fair. The Civic Action Fair will be held for the year 2017-2018 at Los Angeles City Hall on April 8th. Okay, so the mission is basically really following the philosophy of the JSA's founder, Professor Rogers. And Professor Rogers believed that if real change in society is going to happen, it's going to happen through our youth. Okay, so this is the second pilot. The first pilot was looking at going through the civic action inquiry cycle with our whole chapter, completing a civic action. This one is focusing, pilot 2 is focusing on making smaller groups so each group can become, or at least each member within your chapter becomes not only invested, but an active member. All right, so what are the elements of the civic action cohort? Well, as you can see, there's small groups. It leads to personalized action, higher engagement, and every student going through experiential learning. And like I said, if we can say right over here, we're talking 3 to 5 students, members, making up almost like a sub club within JSA and creating and fulfilling their own civic action. The cohort member roles, basically we're looking at 3 main members: the cohort lead, the secretary, and the reporter. The lead is really going to be the person who facilitates their civic action cohort into creating their action as well as eventually fulfilling their action. A reporter is obviously you want to, each cohort needs to publicize their action so that they can get more people on board helping them with their civic action, as well as reporting for the club to be able to show what civic actions are happening within that club. There's 2 other secondary positions or roles: a primary researcher as well as a resource manager. But really, when you look at every member within the cohort, they are all researchers as well as they're all resource managers. All right, so moving on. Cycle at a glance. All right, so basically we're looking at the cohort to complete a civic action on their passion throughout the year. So basically really focusing on completing an action, one action as opposed to 5, 10, okay? And really giving them time to experience and do a well-developed action. In September, they're finding their passion. That when we say passion, we're talking their passion to change something in the community and make it better. October, they're investigating their passion, really researching their passion in more depth so that it's a deep and wide understanding of their passion as opposed to a narrow view of what they're passionate about and possibly ending up in breaking things as opposed to healing and creating things. All right, in November, they're sharing their passion, really trying to network with others as well as to publicize their passion. And then in January through March, they're going through acting on their passion and creating that civic change. And then March through April, they'll be showcasing their passion at a Civic Action Fair. And as I said, this year will be April 8th for 2018 at Los Angeles City Hall. Let's go ahead and move into the first stage, finding their passion. So what we suggest is the JSA executive members of your club go ahead and host a workshop for the cohort leads to explain to the cohort leads what a cohort is, as well as to help them to understand what worksheets they're going to take back to their cohorts to fill out and eventually bring back to the JSA executive board. But really, on your JSA executive board, you may want to have a executive who is in charge of special projects, like we do at Smidt Tech. We have a director of special projects, and that director leads the or facilitates the workshops for the leads, as well as receives the worksheets from the leads to confirm the cohort's progress towards fulfilling their civic passion. Let's take a look at a couple of these. So the problem exploration, you can email me, by the way. And by the way, this so we have links on this PowerPoint. The PowerPoint link will be below this video, and you can go ahead and download that PowerPoint, as well as you click on one of these links to find the worksheets. So these are sample worksheets that we're going to be using, and feel free to use yourself. Also, you can email me. I'll have my email below, and I will send you these worksheets if that's better for you. All right, so let's take a look at the first one, and the first one is problem exploration. So problem exploration is really having them look at all the problems within their neighborhood, within city issues, state issues, as well as world and national issues. And once they have all those, then to look at all those problems and see what are they really passionate about? What are they passionate about more than others? And to really write those three passions down. And then eventually they'll lead another cohort meeting and come up with one passion that the cohort is going to follow for the year. But really, once they have those three passions, they may want your club may want to have your cohorts investigate all three to find out if they're really passionate about all three of them, and especially which one they are specifically passionate about. And that would eventually turn into selecting one passion and moving into a problem definition. So if we take a look at the problem definition from DIYtoolkit.org, this will help them to, once they've selected their one passion that they're going to be doing a civic action on, to really define the passion, and as well as what is the problem that really needs to be fixed or changed or spruced up in society. We have a couple of helpful videos here that you may want to click on, but for the cohorts to and show the cohorts during your workshop, and maybe the cohorts can show during their meeting. The leads can show during their the meeting with the cohorts. But then also we have once the definition is or the problem is defined, we have another worksheet here, and that's basically looking at each group of stakeholders and their relationship to the issue or to the civic problem, so that the cohorts can get a real clear understanding of not only how the problem is possibly affecting themselves, but how it's affecting different stakeholders in society. Now, once they have a clear idea of what the problem is, we would look back into investigating their passion a little bit more. So let's take a look at what we're asking for is for them to now, once they have their passion clearly defined, is to research solutions. So we have once again, it's a worksheet. The reason why we have these worksheets is the worksheets are allow your club's special project coordinator or director to hold each cohort accountable and make sure that each cohort is not falling behind or becoming passive, because obviously this whole pilot here is to make sure that every member within your club is an active member and experiencing the JSA experience. All right, so we asked them to first start out by coming up with multiple solutions, so 3 to 5 solutions, so that they can get sort of a different angle on how they might be able to at least make a small or large social change within their passion. And so we would have them write their different solutions here, trying to keep it smart, as smart as possible. In other words, specific, manageable, etc. So a SMART goal, really 3 to 5. And then those 3 to 5 would eventually move into picking one solution. If you click on this link here, should take you to the problem solving. So basically listing all 5 of the solutions they came up with, and now looking at the strengths of each solution as well as the weaknesses of each solution. And then after evaluating the strengths and weaknesses, selecting one of these to put down here into their solution, which would be their resolution, and then to develop 3 to 5 action steps that they would do to be able to complete their civic action. Now, if we go back a little bit, if you notice it says obtain mentor, and before that it says obtain mentor, and moving on, they're gonna meet with their mentor. We suggest that once they have researched their solutions and developed multi-solutions for the teacher advisor to help each cohort gain a mentor. It could be a teacher, it could be a civic leader, it could be a parent that is experienced in social change or problem solving, and so that the mentor could help them to pick the best solution that's the smartest solution as well as the most effective solution. Moving on, if you notice where we are right now is we're moving into sharing the passion. And so in sharing their passion, we would, I'm sure each club would like to publish what civic actions their members are engaged in, as well as what resolution or solution at least each cohort within their club is attempting, so that they can publicize their JSA as an active club. But also, we would also hope at this point that the cohorts figure out who they can team up with. So who's really going to help them with their civic actions, whether it be policymakers, community leaders, or other students. And that is where a mentor might come in, and with their connections and their network, figuring out how they could team up with people that possibly could provide resources, or at least provide support, or even open up avenues for the cohorts to be able to smoothly make social change. All right, after sharing the passion, so people know what's going on now, and possibly they're teaming up with community members, it's time to act on your passion. So once again, meeting with the mentor especially to make sure that the specific steps are specific and they're manageable. And then just helping the mentor, as well as helping the cohorts actually do each step. Then eventually following up with their teammates, as well as following up with the mentor about how the steps are going. Sort of a cyclical thing here. They complete one step, following up with a mentor, how that went, see if any changes need to happen, do second step, follow up with a mentor, do third step, follow up with the mentor, as well as any community members that are helping out. All right, then after acting on the passion, hopefully, knock on wood, everything went well, or you adjusted the steps and eventually everything went well. It's time to showcase your passion. And so once again, we'll be having a School Civics Fair for 2017 at Los Angeles City Hall, April 8th. Alliance schools, especially Smidt Tech, are piloting this, and so we will definitely be there. And we encourage any other chapter within Southern California, as well as, hey, if you want to come from New York or Arizona and do your own civic action as a cohort and then enter into our Civic Action Fair, we invite you, definitely. But basically, they would create a display. And this is a trifold display. And as you can see, the Passions title would be there with the JSA logo and the school's logo, as well as your team name. But then also the items that we just talked about, like the problem definition, would be within this section. The resolution or the solution that they selected would be clearly stated here. The civic action steps that they fulfilled. If they change it up, then change them up in here. And then with the results, what happened through pictures, captions on the pictures, as well as any data that shows what type of results happened. And even if it didn't all make it all the way to what they had intended. Listing the stakeholders and how each stakeholder either stakeholder group would be invested within this civic action, or would be affected, how they would be affected by the civic action. And then another areas would be what would be the next steps after this civic action was complete, as well as what each cohort learned about through the process. Okay, and that pretty much takes us to the end. We have a example sign-up list for cohorts, or as we do it on Google Classroom through a Google form. We do have an addendum, and that's the history of Pilot 1 through the 2016-2017 school year. Once again, the Pilot 1 was going through these phases: finding the passion, investigating the passion, sharing the passion, acting on the passion, and showcasing the passion, but as a whole club as opposed to a cohort. You can read what we did, but basically it was on getting Los Angeles to legalize street vending, or rather decriminalize street vending. We had a very successful run on Pilot 1. The results were that street vending was decriminalized from the city of Los Angeles, and as City Councilman Busciano, who's sitting right here, asserted to our JSA efforts that our report that we made, our survey and our report that we made, as well as our presentation to the City Council, this is Daphne Gonzalez of our club, inspired all of us, meaning the City Council and the entire city. And we hope that each cohort has likewise results, knocking on wood. And that's it for JSA Civic Action Cohorts. And hope to hear from some of you, and maybe we can share what our clubs are doing regarding fulfilling this second pilot for the year of 2017-2018. And if it goes really well, again, knocking on wood, there I go, I got this table. We really hope to push out the Civic Action Cohorts to all of JSA, and possibly getting multi-regional, or rather statewide Civic Action Cohorts and Civic Action Fairs. All right. And thank you. And from Alliance Smidt Tech, hi, this is Kip Morales, and we hope you have a great year.